I'm trying to start the recording. So, yes, the recording started. So, I welcome Ashwarya, team from Bangalore, Chennai, Demon, team from Hinjawadi. I can see Mahalakshmi here, and so we are on to the session on Informatica PowerCenter. The module we are going to speak about one most active and widely used tool of Informatica, we call as Informatica PowerCenter. With a quite good introduction onto this product, the class will go in fashion as we planned yesterday. You are welcome to write that question over the chat to me. And the team, are you able to hear me, or you would like me to come up telephone? Just anyone from Bangalore team if can confirm me, and so that I can start with the session now. Bangalore. You had some audio challenges, Bangalore team. Wonderful. Thank you very much for confirming, team. So we are going to start with a PowerCenter overview as a part of this session of 1.5 hours. So let me quickly give the agenda. So after completing this module, we will understand the purpose of PowerCenter. We will define the technologies, or very simply, we will understand the vocabulary of PowerCenter. And we will try to focus on to the major components of PowerCenter. Again, this we are doing in collaboration with Informatica University. As I told you, that Team D Skills University is part to Informatica for programs across Asia Pacific. We started the business for India on to various training programs. Our unit name is Harpreet. Who delivered the BDM session yesterday to you. I will be the speaker for the tomorrow session onto the data quality also. For really team for confirming that they have joined me in the system. So we start with the module objective with the of the PowerCenter. So what are the components of PowerCenter and how what basically the terminologies or the project discussions we'll have during the PowerCenter, and the major role of PowerCenter into today activity. So in agenda. So if I take you back a little history of to the PowerCenter, I'll take you back about year Y2K. Let me talk a very, very simple example over here for the organization called Airport Authority of India. And the Airport Authority of India, this is their business. So, Airport Authority of India landed up into something very, very interesting. So, we have various systems. So, the system for ticket handling, they have a system for baggage handling, system for aircraft handling. They have a system for employee management, that system for inventory of airplanes coming. They have a system of timings, recording of landing. They have a system for timings for the departure. So they have different types of systems. Some of the line which shows on the top of here that the large organizations have a lot of data. Data is actually stored into different formats. So when I say different formats, so probably they were using or a baggage system using Oracle, and while for ticketing system they were using DB2. For the account system they were using SAP. For the inventory of landing and departure they were using a SQL system. For resource planning they were using some kind of application. And for billing and other purposes they were using Sybase. So a large organization. So I give you an idea. So where the data is pretty large over here. And using disparate databases. So at the mid of 2005, when the problem arises too much of combining these all systems. So that's the idea. They need the data to be collated, combined, made to work seamlessly as one group. So do that, they did creating them, so making them one, collating them, and they that the different databases do not communicate well with each other. That was a big challenge they found. The database were not communicating well with each other. What it is, they something. So that started doing something that they need to write an interface between the databases so that the data type of one format be converted into another format. So that was a very critical activity they started doing. So converting one type of format into another type of format. Uh, we people call it JDBC or .NET, ADO.NET. So kind of a connectors were required. We were expected to flip one pair of data into another pair of data. And it was doing a great job for us. When it was doing a great job for us, the idea was that we were able to convert one form into another, and the data was able to be collated together. So as the data was collated together, everything was fine. But there was a more challenge over here, and the challenge was that if any of one database changed, it was massive. One database, so many interfaces have to be upgraded. So that was a very big challenge here. So who is going to upgrade it? So if let me put it, JDBC 1.0 is quite different from JDBC 2.0. So when drivers itself are a different set of functionality. So it was more like writing the entire piece of code, and rewriting the entire piece of code was having its own piece challenge. And this challenge was increasing day by day. The person who wrote the code left the organization. So he had already written the code, and the team leave the organization. This challenge becomes more bitter for anyone. So they have to rewrite that piece of code. So there was always an opportunity for which can be used for the purpose of data integration. So we were looking for an opportunity for data integration over here, so that which allows the application to so requirement of a solution of from Informatica. Okay, Informatica PowerCenter comes into the picture. So I believe I'm back now, so audio will be there for you. Good, I can see the things well in place now. Yeah. So I'm back. Some hiccups which comes into the system. Good. So let me put the show back. Good. So that please. Because I can see a lot of noise from the background coming to me. Good. So we'll be back into a place. Good ones. Good. So much for confirming, sir. That little hiccup from my side, I think so my internet connection got down because of any reason. Could be any reason. We were discussing onto this part where we were talking about if one of the database change, so many interfaces needs to be upgraded. That was an idea. So many of them needs to be upgraded in that particular case. So there is a requirement for technology which allow application with different database to communicate with each other using a single interface. So we would require that there should be a single interface, and especially over here, we are seeing that if something got upgraded, that we have a responsibility to look for the code, decoding it. If anything is upgraded, so it will be the responsibility of data integrated solution provider to us with the decision for the new one. For example, if Oracle comes with Oracle 10G, then comes with Oracle 11, then with Oracle 12, or SQL Server comes with SQL Server Denali edition, comes with new, or let me put a very good example. We got a new type of source over here called Hadoop. Not our responsibility if Hadoop is coming, so let the integration company take care of it. And tomorrow comes another types of database called SQL. So, NoSQL databases like Cassandra and other things. So it should not be our responsibility. It should be the responsibility of data integration companies to support new types of data which are into the industry. So how it looks like in the terms of database technologies. Wow, that's how it looks like to us. Informatica PowerCenter is one of the premium data integration solution which is available today. So that's about Informatica. So if I talk about things. So Informatica says that we are one of the premium solution today. And in the terms of premium solutions, we not only communicate with any database, so we take pride that you bring any kind of source to us. So if you bring any kind of source to us, we are capable of speaking to that source. So it's a relational source. So that's what we put here for your screen. If you have a relational source, we will be in good position to bring that information back to you. So we are in position to we are database neutral. So and we are database neutral. Neutral, we can bring data from any database, can connect to any database, and that is that the powerful data transformations to convert one application data to another format. So you have a powerful transformation not only for databases, but we have it for applications also. So we speak to very known application in the industry. Salesforce is a very good example which is being put for you. So it's only about database. We speak to certain applications also. Plus we have capabilities to speak to standard databases also like Hadoop, System, or maybe we can speak about some business to business, B2B. We give you powerful power exchange adapters over the PowerCenter. So that's the reason we have Self as to be one of the premium data integration solution which is available today. So that's how it is looking. Oops, so we got some challenge in Bangalore. So let me check with Bangalore team. Are they settled? Sure, Bangalore. Bangalore here. Chalo. Let's continue with here. Wow. So basic usage of Informatica PowerCenter today. So let's put it into use PowerCenter. There is so we talk about example of so it's basically can be used for data migration. Some of the prominent use of PowerCenter is that you can use it for the purpose of migration. Like for example, you have an old application accounting and you would like it to move into a new accounting application. So as you want to move it to the new application, so this could be from different formats. Let's take an example. Your old accounting application is working on Oracle and your accounting application is on a D2 where the data formats is there. So in days you can move data from your old accounting to a new accounting in the PowerCenter, migrating the data. PowerCenter is one of the premium tools which supports you for migrating the data in this particular fashion. And we use the data lineage, so that's a very interesting thing. So when we say about data lineage means it's a prominent term which is used nowadays in the industry. So how your data is flowing. So we guarantee you that we will preserve the data lineage. So accidentally we will not spoil your data. If we are reading the data of Bangalore, we will make sure that the target will be populated with the data of Bangalore. So there will be a guarantee from our side that if we are reading the data from Bangalore, Chennai and Pune, so the data will be not mixed with the data of Chennai or Pune. So that will remain intact and to guarantee you that we will maintain the data lineage. So you don't worry about from the data lineage perspective in Informatica. It's only about movement of data. We are also pretty good into the application integration. So like for example, A purchases company B. We want to achieve the benefit of consolidation and so the company B billing system be integrated into company A billing system. And the company A billing system is built on .NET while company B billing system is maybe on some other product. So we will give you the application integration also. So not only the database integration, but the application integration is also possible from the perspective of PowerCenter. So you can use us for this purpose. So the couple of uses where you can use us: migration, application integration, and another very important part is where the most widely the people use us is for building a data warehouse. So that we can put the information from many sources together for analysis purpose. So let's move from many bases to a warehouse and make a place for you where the data will be stored first. So in PowerCenter, we are building a data warehouse where we are looking at the we are picking marketing data, accounting data, inventory, planning, Salesforce and billing system. So this is how it worked for us. So this is how we are building our data warehouse using Informatica PowerCenter. So idea here in this particular slide is to share with you that we can what we are doing over here is that we are disparate sources, making it one piece and pushing it into a data warehouse. That's a very common job of data integration. So PowerCenter is one of our premium solution for data integration purpose. So typical data integration methodology is called what we call it as in a simple word ETL. So extract, transform, and load. So we speak that we extract that data from the disparate sources, from the data is needed, and we load into a target system. So let me put a very interesting example over here with you. So ETL stands for, we are actually a backbone for a reporting system. So at a point of time, I asked one of my participants that I still remember that was a very interesting incident which happened with me. So during the session, and I asked one of the participants a question, what is your sex? Participant, what is your sex? That guy literally looked at me and he was shocked. There was an interesting word which actually caught him at that point of time. And when I asked the same question back to him and asked him, what is your gender? He was comfortable with my second question the moment I asked him, what is your gender? To answer very quickly to the to me that, my gender is male. On the other hand, the moment I asked him the question, what is your sex? So he was a little apprehensive at the point of time to answer that question. So over here, so just to tell you that the sources, they are a very good example is Oracle. So I still have an employee table which has an attribute called sex. While your target system, which is for the reporting, we try to avoid such kind of column names. We will appreciate that these column names should be well objective, which is understood or heartedly accepted by the system. So we found something very interesting that one database guys has done in the source is that have generated an attribute called sex where they were putting a value called 0 and 1. So they were planning to put 0 as male and 1 as female. And the target system was which was generating a salary slip. And I believe that if I take my salary slip to my wife, it shows that sex is 0. I have to give her explanation even after having the 2 kids that this is not this is a very mistake from my organization. They have put such a word. She probably comes with me. What kind of organization we are working where we are putting a attribute with a value called 0. So what the requirement is that we are expected to extract the sex with an integer data type. We need to transform this integer type to a string type which was expected by the target system, which was in an attribute called gender now. So we are extracting 601, we are transforming it to a string type male and female according to the business requirement. Loading into the target system because the target requires the value in the terms of genders. That's what we call ETL because the population behaves very interestingly. Population behaves very interestingly. You need to extract, you need to transform the data, and you need to load to the target system. So that's where data integration methodology works. But the population behavior is very weird behavior. A very weird behavior of a population. So I asked a couple of people, which country do you live? So a very interesting answer that some of the people answered that we live in India. We are a couple of people who in the population who said we are living in Hindustan. So they said that we live in Hindustan. A couple of people said we live in Republic of India. So they put a word called Republic of India. So that's how the population behaves. And then there's another couple of set of people who gave me a very interesting answer that we live in Bharat. So your data is in a format which is a very a format which is expected by population. So population behaves into a various fashion. But when we talk about the target system over here, that is that I need a value is a 3 value, that is what we call IND, because that is the curve value for India. So this is your source system, so where the population behaves in a different fashion. And this data needs to be the form logic and then needs to be lowered. But ETL, so your population is a very weird population, and this population behaves into various fashions. In the Hindustan, Republic, India, and Bharat. So this is the data which is coming from source. Source data needs to be transformed to become a value as a good or bad. So whichever is good and which is bad, so to be taken care of. So goods to be converted according to the business logic, and that needs to be rejected. So that's what the ETL do over here. So it's very, very weird. I give you a lot of examples. So I'd ask you, if you look on the word called McDonald's, and I can give you the various versions of McDonald's. Donald, MC Donald, M Donald, Donald, MSC Donald, D, MD, so MD, MD. So there's a various way the people of your population will push data to your source. This source data needs to be transformed to make a good and put it into the target system. Also looking for a value which is a McDonald's with the expected value. What we do is, so the idea over here is to tell you that your source system, which is bringing data from a population, could be a very population-oriented data and very different formats, a different way of pronouncing it, different way of writing it. Then to transform it according to your business requirement and load into the target system so that at least you have some data available with you. That's how it looks like. So data integration is what we call ETL. So what we become a backbone for your data warehouse here. So that's an idea. So we are the backbone for tasks. But the next slide talks about that it is expected from you that what you're going to do is that you're going to clean the data, you are going to consolidate the data, you are expected to apply business rules, and you are going to denormalize the data and expected to aggregate the data. Extracting the data from different operational systems. So when we're talking about here, it could be a relational DBMS. It could be a hierarchical formats. So here we are looking for applications or some hierarchical formats. Or picking that up from a chunk systems like mainframes. We pick the data, extract the data where the population has behaved in a very weird fashion. Clean the data, consolidate the data, apply business rules, analyze the data, and edit them and put it into warehouse. So warehouse will become over a period of time master data for you. So the master data here. So this is from Informatica to PowerCenter to do extract, form, and load the data. So you're going to build a master. So that's what we call extract, transform, and load. And the benefit of using Informatica over here is that we support all databases. So you bring any kind of database to us, we can extract the data from that database, we consolidate it, and we can put into the target system. That's why we are one of the premium tool into the industry today. So it loves us because of this reason. We not only support a relational database, but we support the other formats also. So while data coming into the format of XML, or you have some business applications, or you have into a semi-structured format like JSON. So we are in good position to extract that data, transform according to your business requirement, and load it into your target system. That's where the ETL comes into the picture. That's a PowerCenter. Okay, good. So, a question here. So I'll take a quick pause. It's about 30 minutes for me to speak. So I'll just start off. Any question here, please? So questions there. Otherwise, I'll move to the next part of the Informatica PowerCenter. missions. That's it. Okay. But it supports every format. So what we do over here, team, really is that, apparently speaking, we support every format, but the PowerCenter standard version is a ANSI format. So we need only the Unicode and but this kind of a data Avro format, we call it as a semi-structure format. So what we do in this semi-structure Avro format is that we use a special transformation to transform it to Informatica. So typically speaking, yes, we support Avro format. So I mean the support I do not know, but let me put the question in this way. We can read the data from Avro files. So Avro files, we read the data, we call it as a complex format. So instead of you, in yesterday's session, I told you that HDFS can be, so let's take an example here, file is lying in Avro. So we get the binary data. So this binary data comes into Informatica. And this binary data, then we use a specialized transformation called unstructured data transformation. And this unstructured data transformation is in the capacity to convert data into the normal I format. So practically speaking, the answer is yes. So wonderful. So you do not believe if you do our big data management course. In big data management course, we teach about how to handle Avro format. So is master data and data warehouse are the same? So Palo team data and data warehouse can be same, but yeah, that we differentiate. We can differentiate between them. So data warehouse is one of the steps towards making a master data. But master data has some of its own capacities. So typically, the master data does not have duplicate records. So data warehouse is a one step towards master data, where you are actually cutting the data. So data warehouse is a very so it depends upon what type of step you are. Are you on to the staging area, or you are moving the data on yes other purposes like when you say that data warehouse, or it is your operational data store. Yes, operational data store. But then how's next step is to become a master data. So typically our requirement is our data warehouse should serve as a master data for us. That idea. So this PowerCenter also works with data replication. The answer is yes. So we separate our data replication in PowerCenter. So those we provide you kind of a plugin on the top of PowerCenter, what we call as a data replication plugin for it. So we work for data replication also. So I don't know what you mean by data replication over here. Basically, you are in that data replication is standard data replication. If we are talking about, yes, the PowerCenter also works it, but not with a normal product. So you need a plugin on the top of it to work it for data replication purpose. So we have a product called data application over here, but yes, it works with parallel with PowerCenter to do this job. So what is a replication factor? So I really can keep it for a separate part because it's what is something related to replication. So name of a plugin. So it is what is called Informatica data application. So it's not it's a separate plugin product what is we call Informatica data application. So that is related to Informatica data application. So obviously that if you see your email, what I'll do is I'll separately take the data application questions with you. So how does the Informatica work with data application and what are the products we use for it and how this speaks to Informatica PowerCenter. So it's absolutely a separate area, data application. It has nothing to do with Informatica PowerCenter. So it is more largely a product which is associated with the kind of stuff. Okay, drop me an email. I'll give you my email ID at the end of this program. Just drop me an email. I'll send you more information on data application or application factor and other things. I'll speak about it. Nice. send me the question if you have a PowerCenter. Center is our core product. So every product revolves around the PowerCenter. That's how it talks about. PowerCenter reads data row by row from a table in a database or from a file. So that's how ETL works. And let me put out a very interesting example over here. So a very interesting example that I want to build a house. Build a house over here. What I'm going to do over here is I need money and I need a land. The ETL guys, what they do is that before they want to convert this money into a land into a house using money. So is our source, our target. So we don't worry about the source and the land. So the source is with us and is already in place. Already created a target structure for us. And they already have the money in place. Money has come to us from the disparate sources. So when the money has come from the disparate sources means not taken loan, money from our saving. A very good example is that support from your wife, support from your family, support from your in-laws, support from your friends. Here is a source is coming from the disparate base. So the money and you have a land and your target is that this money is to be converted into 2 BHK. Typically, person does to build house is that what the first step he does is that and hires so you, as an individual, you do not go and start building a house of your own. You go and hire an architect. And what does the architect do is the architect is going to build a blueprint for you. Now to build a blueprint for you, that is a blueprint of your house, that is what you call a logical design of your house, he will ask you that how much money you have. So he wants to look at your money, but what he wants to do is he wants to understand how much budget you have. Now when he wants to understand the budget you have is important, that he wants to see that what else you are having with you. So Informatica also, once you understand your source side, that how much is your budget, the typical question he asks you is that what is your land dimension? How does your target look like? What is your land dimension? And based on your source and the land, then what you do is you make a logical design of your house. So you see that ample money, so I will go for 2 stories. But if I have money, I'll go for a single story house with smaller rooms. So he comes up with a plan, looking at a source and looking at a target, how a balance can be maintained and the transformation can be done. So he's very like an architect. Architect is there, which is making a logical design for you. So Informatica expect you to be same way, that Informatica PowerCenter will expect you to behave like an architect in the beginning. So when you say Informatica would like to make you behave like an architect, so for that what you do is first you go to your source. So that's what the slide is depicting now. You first go to the source, and what you do is you extract the structure of the source. So that's where we are emphasizing on. So what we go over here in Informatica is that we go and get the structure of the source. We extract the structure of the source into Informatica PowerCenter. So that gives us an idea that how does a source look like. And similarly, what we do is from the target side, we extract the structure of the target also. The structure of source and we get the structure of target. We got a source piece and got a target piece with us. So pieces with us, the target pieces with us, and what we do is in the middle, what we do is we write the business logic. And write the business logic, what we do is we write the transformations here. So 3 different types of transformations to transform your data. The source structure, we got a target structure, and we got a transformations in between as a business logic. So typically what we have is that we got it over here, the source structure. We call this source structure as a source definition. So what Informatica does is that it go and pick your source definition over here. What we do is we go and pick the definition here. So that's a two ways we work with: source definition and we work with target definitions. So the structures over here, and then we need to write the links. So business logic is written with the help of what we call as transformations. We offer you a wide variety of transformations for converting your data. So each transformation is in the capacity to convert your data from one format into another format over here. So that's like, for one of the examples, there was a question that we got source as Avro. We're going to read the Avro source, and what we're going to do is we need to transform into a relational object. So to go into relational objects, I will be using this one specialized kind of a transformation here called structure transformation. We will structure transformation to transform the data and we'll put it into an table. So that could be a very good example over here. This is what we call as an ETL process. So what we need is a source definition, that how does a source look like, how does what transformation business logic you are going to implement on it, and how does a target look like into it. So for example, let's take an example that Advo was having a record, and Oracle was having 10 attributes. So what to do is, this is the responsibility of this transformation, that this record into 10 attributes now using the transformation. The target requires about it. So that's what the ETL talks about. ETL is more or less target driven. So you look what is the target requirement. So based on that you write a business logic. And then in Vika we call it as, technically we call this as a mapping. So mapping is a logical ETL process, so which is nothing but is a set of transformation, which transforms your source data into a target requirement. And mapping exists entirely inside the PowerCenter. What we do is that we quickly go here and we look at how does a source look like. So in the source, what is the opportunity into the target? We do use transformation to transform the data according to the target requirement. So we offer you a lot of transformations in Informatica to transform your source data into the required formats. Like in the case of Avro, your source format is a binary format, and this binary data will be then converted into structure will be converted into a hierarchical format. So this hierarchical format will convert it into a relational format. So that's how typically Informatica works for us. Really wide of Informatica. And mapping means you are a logical design of ETL process. That's why we call that you're behaving like an architect here. Behaving like an architect here. So what you do is you go and architect your mapping. So that it looks like into it. You expected to use a special tool to do this particular job for architecture. You have a blueprint ready with you. So the mapping is what we call a blueprint. So you're expected to create this blueprint. Once this blueprint is ready, what you do is you take this blueprint to the other person, the next level of a person in the blueprint. Let's take an example, back to the example of building a house. So you take this blueprint back. That somebody, let me put it in a very fashion. We will take him to a contractor. So we will take this blueprint to the contractor, and it will be the responsibility of the contractor to start the physical execution now. The contractor will start the physical execution of this particular, and so there's a blueprint in front of you, and you take this blueprint to the contractor, and then the contractor does, he started the execution, and he hires a subcontractor and he arranges for the resources. So when we say that he hires subcontractors, so there is a contractor, he hires electrician, plumber, mason, a printer, and the various other resources for the execution purpose. So Informatica, so that first you are building like architect. Once your blueprint is ready, you give this blueprint to a contractor. So what we call over here is contractor is a workflow. So call contractor, a typically example over here for a contractor is we call contractor a workflow. So we contract to the workflow for execution, and what does a workflow do? He has a subcontractor called task. This has variety of tasks to do the job. Like there will be a separate task to monitor that whether the file is present or not. A specialized task to see whether the file is available or not. There's specialized task to execute a mapping. There's specialized task to for a particular period of time. There will be a specialized task for sending an email. So you see over here we have a variety of tasks. So this is our file task. So looking for a file. We have a task for waiting for a particular period of time, and we got some type of task which is executing your mapping over here. So that different types of tasks to continue and do their job. So it's very dangerous to ask addition to do a plumbing fitting. So there will be specialized tasks to carry out a specific job. You need to work like a contractor into the second place where you need to build the workflow. The what sequential or concurrent manner would you like to do your execution? So that will be a second rule, Marika. So first rule is you behave like an architect. Second rule is you behave like a you decide the sequential flow or a parallel flow or a concurrent flow of your execution plan. So once your execution is done, there is another very important part which you be very, very careful with will be your role. And your role will be primarily the role of managing the things. And to manage the things, what you are expected to do is that you are expected to monitor. The third role which we are going to do is here, will be monitoring. So we will be requiring one person to monitor the execution also. So as a monitoring and managing the things, you have to make a metadata also. Like would we love to keep the information about the contractors, architects, and the painters, the plumbers, the electricians, or the various places from the people come or where the things were procured. Require them into a few purposes. So what we have here is that you are probably going to keep everything in your diary. So the day is that we keep things into a place what we call as a repository. Our repository is always an RDBMS. Thing in RDBMS with us. So we don't keep it into a flat file or into some kind of Excel sheet format. So we keep it into an RDBMS, and this RDBMS is third party. So Informatica doesn't provide you with this RDBMS. So you need a third party RDBMS to take care of this particular part. So we keep our all information into a metadata which is RDBMS. And this is our ISP, that is Informatica Service Provider, looks like this. So we got a domain, so we keep information related to domain into a domain databases, and these are the two important services with us. So as far as Informatica is concerned, there are two important services which runs on Informatica. One we call integration service, and we call it as a repository service. The integration service is known as your execution engine. So we typically call it as execution engine because all execution takes place against this engine. So your execution engine, and this is repository service is called your design engine. Or designing is done against this engine. So you design against this engine. That we save this entire design into a database. So whatever you are designing, into a database, what we call a repository. So So database which it keeps your entire metadata. So that is an important, interesting part over here. That I was talking on the previous slide. So if I take you to the previous slide, so the repository I was talking about. So where we are going to keep the metadata, and it is responsibility actually of the repository service to maintain the metadata. So we do all the designing against the metadata over here to do the job. So it's design and a job for us. So that's how it looks like to us. So two services which are responsible for one is responsible for managing the data, another one is responsible for executing the data. So comes what we design here. So I love this question here. What we design here: mapping, so just put a question in front of you. So what we design in Informatica? So what we are expected to do in Informatica? A mapping, a workflow, or a metadata, or both A and B. Workflow. So what is expected out of us? So I just put a quick question for you. Expected. That's how it looks like to us. So I put some answer over here. So what is expected out of us? So Informatica will expect us to this mapping, workflow, metadata of both A and B. So what it is expected out of us that we have to design mapping in the workflow. So we are not going to design metadata. So Informatica itself, what does is that it extracts the data. What it does, it extracts the data from workflow, and this extracted data is then this data. What we do is we put this extracted data back into the repository as a metadata. That's how we work in Informatica. Yeah, so we got it over here. So, good. I have a question over here, and the question which I see over here suggests that Harpreet, what is domain? So, give me a second, please. I'll come back to what is domain over here. These are the two primary services with us, what we call Informatica require. So we're requiring Informatica services, and we do 4 clients to services. So we offer you 4 clients over here. So client is not a one client, but we got 4 clients over here. So these are 4 PowerCenter clients which we use for to consume these services, and these are only Windows GUI. So that are Windows GUI. We call as GUI here. So yeah, Windows GUI, and these 4 clients are for various purposes. Like this client is the one which helps you to behave like an architect. Clients helps you to work like a contractor. But this one is for monitoring purpose, right? And for your management purpose. So you got different types of clients for different purposes to do the job. The next a couple of minutes we are going to speak about this client, but I have a question over here that what is domain? So let me put it in an easy fashion for you. So Informatica structure looks like this. So when we talk about Informatica over here, so Informatica, say I have a multi-node architecture. So you have multi-node architecture over here. So they are the physical boxes over here. So we got node 1. So node here, physical boxes, node 2. And 3. And when we want to say that these nodes belongs to a same architecture, so we call them, they belong to a same domain. So same domain. So domain is a logical collection of nodes here. So we call as domain here. So this is a domain is a collection of nodes. So logically all the nodes together. So it's a collection of nodes, and each node hosts services. Like on this node, I'm running IES, and on this node, I'm running RS. So we got a multiple node architecture over here. So they are basically required for various purposes. So IES and RS is here also. This is your doing a kind of a backup activity. Common architecture of Informatica. So it's a collection of nodes. So what you are achieving here is what we call as a high availability and balancing. So we're doing a high availability and balancing kind of a stuff here. Yeah. So balancing. So we're over here, load balancing over here. So that's a two parts of this domain. So main is logical. That is a logical. It's a software which runs onto a machine, and logical software takes care of all the nodes. So that's how it was first. This idea is the centralized management. The terms of what is domain. So domain is a logical collection of nodes. So that's the definition. Good. So as I'm back to my Windows, this is how your entire process works. Integration service feeds to the repository. So what integration service do? It reads the data from the source. It's a request to the repository service to get the business logic. The repository service get the data from the metadata from the repository. The integration service the data according to the business logic and writes it back to the target. Our integration service is resource hungry, while the repository service should be always high available. It is important that the repository service should be high available to make that get the metadata, and integration services always need to load so that it is not too much load, so that the process should not be slow down. And we use 4 PowerCenter clients. They are Windows GUI. Now, when I say Windows GUI, we do not support them onto any other form. So it is only supported onto Windows GUI. So you need a Windows operating system to run on it. The server could be on any other operating system. So the server could be on Unix, Linux, Solaris. So we support onto various other ones, but our clients are always Windows GUI clients. Good. So using these clients, we are able to communicate. Wonderful. So we offer you these as our typical client applications. So very important that one should know that you should be able to work with these client applications. The client applications like workflow manager and workflow monitor. Some of us to behave like an architect, workflow manager like a contractor, and monitor is to monitor the job and control the workflow. Alignment is to create a mapping. Workflow is to create and manage the workflows. The workflow monitor is monitoring and controlling the workflow. So 3 execution for development purposes. You need access to these clients. While for administration purposes, we have a Informatica administrator, which is a browser base for managing the domain. So the domain you need another interface. And then you have a repository manager, which is basically for managing the repository like groups, users, their things, migrating the data from one place to another place. So that's how it looks like. So typically those over here, we offer you a course here. So just to discuss about it, we offer you a 4 days course where we teach about this process, and we have a separate course onto the admin. What we call as a part of an admin course. So when we teach admin course, we teach you this part. This is what we call as a developer course. So we have a 4 days developer course where we go in deep into exercise of this. That's how you can do part onto the one. Good. So what in this particular unit is that I quickly share with you what is PowerCenter, what is the purpose of PowerCenter, and terminology used in PowerCenter like source definition, target definition, mappings, flows, transformations. So these were the key terminologies which is used in PowerCenter. And components were the 4 clients what we speak into this particular unit. Any questions here, please? Yeah. So otherwise, we'll move into the next part. Any questions here? Yes. Any question here, please? There will be no question. I'll move into the second part of this. Introduce to you the clients. So whatever the clients, what we talk about is we're going to look about those clients, that how does those clients look like a PowerCenter. Here. So let us resume back to the place where we are going to let's go back to the ETL fundamental part now. So this is the one we are going to speak about it. Let me show you that how does Informatica looks like into the system. So if I take you over here, so this is how it looks like. So this one. So what will, as an Informatica do is that if you go to start all grams or Informatica 10.1.0, so we offer you client, then we give you the PowerCenter clients here, and these 4 PowerCenter clients: PowerCenter Designer, we got PowerCenter Repository Manager, we got PowerCenter Workflow Manager, and we got PowerCenter Workflow Monitor. So these are clients which are available to us. And these are the 4 clients. With the help of these 4 clients, we run a very entire ETL process. It looks like to us. Again, I have the icons of these one here. So we got PowerCenter Designer here, we got Workflow Manager here, and we got Workflow Monitor here. So that's how it looks like in the one. So we open the PowerCenter Designer. So this is the first tool, and you will be expected to connect to a repository. So this is how your repository look like. So you're connecting to a repository service with ID and the passwords. This is how your repository service look like. And this is the interface which comes to you for the purpose of training. So we give you the lot of transformations where are there. So we got different types of transformations to help you with different types of stuff. So we got a data masking here. So if you can see over here, data masking transformation. So there's a point for zero. So we got unstructured data transformation, identity resolution. So we got XML generator. So we got XML parsers. Then we got Salesforce mesh. So we got Salesforce picklist for lookup. We got Java here. We got Union here. We got SQL transformation. Web service related, HTTP, we got CDC flexible target transformations. A lot of transformations are here to do the job. So we got trans and control, commit trans, we got sorter, we got writer, we got rank, we got normalizer. So a beautiful set of transformations to do a lot of job for you. So do the transformation to transform your data. And as a source, what we can do is we can get the data for you from the database. We can get the data from you from a file, get the data from Chrome, we can get from XML, we can get the data from PeopleSoft, that's an application, or web service, or providers from SQL, we can get it from Power Exchange. So both from Power Exchange, we do not have right now library available here. If the library's Power Exchange is there, we will be able to speak to the other adapters also. So he was asking you about the plugins. Get these plugins with the help of Power Exchange. So the plugins comes to us through Power Exchange for So similarly, we can import from Salesforce the job. So we have a lot of opportunity to get the data from different sources here. That's really a wow factor with us. Good. So we can fetch the data from different sources here. It looks like to us. So then after the tool, the another tool that we have over here is called Workflow Manager. So as we talk about Workflow Manager over here, so what we do is we offer you a variety of tasks to do the job. So what we do over here is we offer you the different types of tasks over here. So let me set one of the ones. So we'll create. So let me just have some task in front of you so that you can watch over here. So your command task where you can run different types of use commands. We can email task, give a assignment task. We offer you a timer, control, and event wait, event raise. So we give you different types of tasks for your workflow also. And the third tool which we offer you over here is called the Workflow Manager. So we can do the monitoring of your process. So we give you a good interface where you do the activity. So let's start with small activity over here. So what we're going to do over here is we are going to import a source. So we are importing from a database. Let me try. So we are importing from a data from a database. So just to quickly a job for you. And into the database called SDBU. So have a database with us. So we decided to get some definition over here. So the clients which are working for us, we are going to make it over here. So we connect it to SDBU. We pick this some data. So we pick a customer data from here. So this is what we call as a definition. So we got a source. That source look like this to us. Other one. So we got a source over here that we call as a source definition. And we need a target, and we say that our target is again our customer, and we can change the target type here. So we say that our target is not our Oracle database, and target here is a flat file. So let's make it as a flat file. So we made target as a flat file over here, and we okay. So we got source in place, we got target in place, and this is the place where we are going to create our mapping. Creating our mapping, we start with a source. We can m_first. Created a mapping using the first tool called Designer. So this is the tool where we are creating our mapping. So that's the first step, working as a ETL architect. We have a target over here, and in the middle we are going to write some business logic. The business logic, what I did is I brought an expression transformation over here, and in the expression transformation, select all. Well, let me not select all the ports, but let me go with name. And what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to make this customer name. So I go and I make this customer name as a customer name out. So what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to make this customer name with some business logic. And business logic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it in uppercase. So what I'm doing is I'm making it upper case and validated here. And what I'm going to do over here is after doing this, I'm going to transformation over here, what we call as an aggregate transformation. And select all, bring these ports over here, and what I'm going to do is customer name, I bring it from here to do that for us. Oh, good. So, we got it over here. So we got a link. So we do the customer name in uppercase and auto-encode by name. So I did it over here, and what I did is I asked the aggregator that you kindly group by customer ID. So for each customer ID, there should be one date for us. Oh, not a bad idea. So we got it over here. We set it over here. And that's a very simple example for us. So we did some kind of a business logic. And after doing the business logic, it is expected that you are going to check for its validity here. So at the bottom, we check that whether it's a valid process or not. So very interesting over here that is a valid, it's a valid mapping. So what we have done over here is that we wrote a business logic to do that. And after doing this job, what we're going to do over here is that we are going to pass our back into a next tool over here. So once the mapping is done, we expect it to go into the workflow manager. So we went into the workflow manager. And in workflow manager, we started building our work. And so we said that we would like to work with first. So then first where we are going to write our data to. So we have the data from Oracle and writing into a flat file with the of the cost name and some business logic on the top of it. So we created a workflow over here. So the second job will be to create a workflow, and we must again look for that the workflow is a workflow. So that's how we create a workflow for the execution purpose. Let's quickly edit this part. We go into the mapping to see that we are reading from SBU option. We're going to write it over here. So I decided that I'm going to write it where. So write it into a C drive. Decide output directory will be C drive. The file name will be customer.csv. So I'm going to write into customer.csv, which is delimited file with a single quote as a delimiter. So I decided over here that my output file will be there, and I said okay here. This is my second tool where what I did is I decided my execution plan. The first thing what I did was I quickly the design, and the subsequent plan what I did is I defined the execution plan and I start execution. Now start my execution over here, so we can check into a third tool over here, that is what we call monitor. Tool over here called Informatica Monitor shows the flow, how the execution look like. So it tells you a success part of it here. So the place where you monitor that how the things are there, and they will show you the to run properties here, that how the execution look like to us. So typically we go over here and we look for the execution plan here. So run properties. Oops. So let me get those run properties to you. So we got a good run properties over here. And we give you in the terms of statistics here, that how our statistics looks like to us. So that we read 6,000 and 77 rows from the source, and target we have put 5884 because we aggregated the data. So I aggregated the data. So we extracted the data from the source system. And this way we are monitoring and we're looking for all the information. So we do execution monitoring using the web monitoring tool. And back home we can go and check that how does the execution look like. So I said on a C drive, make a file with the name called customer.csv. So this is the file which is just created on 28th December 2016 anyway. So you can check my time here. Time is 6:49 a.m. So we are working on a US time, or that's the reason we are well behind. And let me open this file for you. So customer.csv. So you can see over here that customer name has been converted into uppercase. So that's what we are able to achieve in this particular example. So that is we extracted the data, extracting the data from a source, whatever business logic according to our business requirement, and we ran our entire process. So we use 3 clients over here to do the process. So we use 3 different clients to extract the data, transform, and the data and load the data. So we give you 3 clients. The designer, design your mapping, how you design your execution flow. The manager, where you manage manage the execution, that how does it look like. And then we got a monitor where you mode the process flow, that how does the things flow for you. So that's how the Informatica looks like. These are the 3 different types of tools to work with. on Marica. So really, really an interesting demo over here. This is what we call ETL fundamental. So if I take you quickly over here, that this is the first tool, that is what we call PowerCenter Designer. This is the tool where you will be expected to click your mappings. So that's how it completely looks like the tool. Then we give you the next tool over here. So that's a little flow about the designer tool. It talks about the different types of transformations which are available. When you that if you do a full day course, we will take you through all of these types of transformations, as what is being shown you over here. And then we have another type of process over here called the workflows. Separate place where we got a workflow to be created. So the workflow created into a place called Workflow Manager, and the Workflow Manager in turn a lot of tasks for you. Different types of tasks to support your execution of your mapping. And after the mapping, what we do is we offer you another interesting tool, that is what we call Workflow Monitor. So Workflow Monitor gives you the opportunity for troubleshooting. So we give you the logs and results. And you can use these logs and results for various purposes. So these are we give you the progress, so success, failed, running, and run properties, and we give you the logs for doing so. That's about the Workflow Monitor. Three very important tools if you are PowerCenter a user to have a knowledge of these three tools handy with you. See over here, that's how it looks like. We recommend you that as you start with this, one of the best practices that as an Informatica we recommend is what we call a velocity methodology. So the velocity methodology, what we do is we offer you templates, we offer you naming conventions and best practices. So Informatica developer, we recommend you that follow Informatica velocity methodology. We recommend you that come back, go and read what is Informatica velocity methodology. But you can download your templates and the best naming conventions and best practices which is done in Informatica. So a quick module is about it that I showed you what are the various kinds of tools which are available to us over here. Wind up my session over here. So we got a quick 5 minutes for you over here. So my responsibility was largely to make you to produce the product to you, which we did it in a nice fashion. So any questions here, please now. So if you have any questions, the next 5 to 6 minutes are there for you for the questions only. So you can have questions to your role, please. It's a question. So what question comes to your mind for Informatica PowerCenter? We recommend you a 4 days course over here to understand a full deep knowledge of how does Informatica PowerCenter works. Any question here? So, the questions here. What is the physical location of those log files? And we have Informatica developer client which is built out of Java. That is supported in Ubuntu. So I got two questions over here. So Informatica developer client is not supported on Ubuntu. So our developer client is on Windows. So we do not have any clients, GU client so we do not have any GU client as far as Informatica is concerned on Unix. So all clients are on Windows. What are the physical locations of these files? So physical locations of these files is decided by you. So the time of execution, you can define the physical location, but this physical location must be onto so it is on the server side. So they will be always on the server to do job. So may I request you to be on the mute, please. So just type your question. We don't speak over here. So our files are on a system. So let me show you that it is actually your responsibility to run the position of these log files, but these are on the servers. They're on the client side. So what the Informatica says running, that is the place where we are going to keep your files on the server. It's a server side, and that's a physical location decided by you. Let me show you over here what I mean by it. So take you back into the application over here. So this application is here, and I've got it over here. If I take you over here, so this is the place where you define your log files. So he asked you about the log files. So it's here. So one is that files are you defined here. And this is your log files, session log files. So wherever you define the directory and the name of the log file. So first log files are created here. Right. So that place. So not supported as of now on any other platform, please. So there was a question here from Ubuntu. So even the developer client is not supported on Ubuntu. Good. So looks like control. So log files can be controlled. The log files are by default, but they can be put it into other formats also. But we delegate right into a dynamic file, keeping in mind that these files will be little light in the sense. So that's the reason. Next. How many number of plugins? So we do not have any number of, so we got a question over here. So how many number of plugins we can use import into PowerCenter? So we do not have any number of plugins. You can make your own plugins also. So now you're making your own plugins. So Vignesh, so we got a lot of variety of plugins over here. So there are a lot of Power Exchange adapters. We got different types of adapters, but we can have user-defined plugins also. So it's not a big deal with us. All of these certain keys should be avoided while developing mapping or transformations. We have some restriction to the length of the name, but while working inside a transformation, we do not allow you to use some special characters. So have some best practices across where we decide you with the so we talk about the certain keywords which should be avoided to this job. So we do not have very strict naming conventions like keyword type what you're asking for. We have some strict naming conventions that you only start the name with a number or a character. You cannot start the name with a special character. So it's better if you see our best velocity practices to do this particular job. So that is a point. So got another question over here that so we got two questions over here. So one question says that how to connect the DBase adapters etc with Informatica. This is a database for us. So DBase is not an adapter with Informatica. So practically we speak about. So DBase, if it is a ODBC connectivity with us, we can speak to DBase adapter directly. So we don't mind you to speak to DBase adapter in that sense. So just like when it comes to Excel. So Excel is again like again a jet engine with us. So DBase is also a database. So you make an ODBC connectivity and you can use ODBC connectivity with Informatica using So the next question which is there, what does the repository manager do? So repository manager is basically responsible for permissions and granted to all the people working in it. And another very important job of the repository manager is migrate the data. So from if you want to migrate the data from prod development to test and test to prod, permission is largely done by the repository manager, and all the permissions, like permissions to the connections, permissions from one folder to the users, is by the repository manager. The next question which comes is how to handle a large file handling in Informatica. Don't worry about it. Informatica is designed to manage the large files. That's not your problem. We are paying us license fees for managing large data. So don't worry about it. So we can handle the large files. We are talking about files. We are talking about VLDBs. How to schedule the job in Informatica? So Aishwarya, we have inbuilt scheduler for Informatica PowerCenter. Manager, we have an inbuilt scheduler. So we use inbuilt scheduler of Informatica to schedule the job. And to use some external scheduler, so what we do is we offer you command utility called InfraCMD. Using this command line utility called InfraCMD, you can schedule these jobs through internal schedulers also. So the way you like. You give your internal scheduler and you can use external scheduler like control and then we'll all our utility called InfraCMD to do the job. Questions, please. My email is still open, so you have my email ID on the screen. So still, if you have any questions, you are most welcome to write me back onto my email ID. You can always come back through Bhatia, so who has organized this wonderful seminar for us.
How does the BTL like other middle tools like BPM and other like TIPCO, Web and other ETL differ from Informatica workflow management?
So if you would like to see, every tool has its own advantages and disadvantages. So let me talk about quick advantage of Informatica. Yeah.
Right, please.
So if I give what summary slide you want, let me put it like this. So you need to speak those powerful words. So let me put it like this. Velocity of Informatica. So first thing is what is the why we are very famous, because we are very much using it. So no one is as user friendly we are. So just comparing it with other tools, we are very user friendly and we are create once and that is what we talk about. So you have to create the metadata once. So once you create the metadata here, so you don't have to worry about. So tomorrow you are changing the data from Oracle to DB2 or DB2 to some other. So it will be created once and it can be deployed anywhere. Other engines are to handle now. So that's another thing. That's make us again elite into this business. And some very powerful points about Informatica is so friendly. Let me make it onto the left hand side. So we are friendly, create once, deploy anywhere. We are very my engine is there with us. So another very important feature about Informatica is that we support any kind of data source. So we bring any kind of data source to us, are having a capability to do this particular job. So how does this log and processing in Informatica? So there was a question from a Chennai team. I'll quickly answer that question to Chennai team to come back to my slide. How do I like these logs and processing in Informatica? These logs are lying in Informatica only. So just have to open them in Workflow Monitor. So monitor gives you an opportunity to see these logs. So Informatica monitor itself helps you to analyze the logs. You need any specialized tools, or even open these logs into a Skype format. And we don't use SQL, so that's another. We cut out application. So this is another one friendly, and is maintained, and so we have ability. So these are few of very common feature. We support Excel as our so Excel we support Excel as our source. So Excel is an database for us. So we treat Excel as a just database engine. Okay, is there any scheduler kind of job processing available in Informatica? Yes, Informatica. Definitely, the Informatica is having its own scheduler for job processing. So, between ab initio, so let me not make it with Informatica between Informatica and ab initio, but let me go that you do not need to write a code like you do in ab initio. So in ab initio, you are expected to write a very big piece of code. In this case, you do not need to write any piece of code. We are very user friendly. So ab initio, a lot of coding is required, but here it's a drag and drop, and most of the functions are available to us pre-signed into the Informatica. So, can you the summary slide once? So I don't know which summary slide is being asked for. Let me show. Let me go back over here. So, data quality features. So tomorrow we have a class on developer clients. So I'll suggest you to into a developer client. So I would appreciate that if you can attend this class. In tomorrow's sessions, we'll talk about the quality features. So there's another client that we have, Informatica Developer. Informatica Developer, we do a lot of data quality. We are one of the most powerful data quality client into the data quality client in this industry. So I request that once ever you have a question, so why don't you please send it to everyone? Don't send it privately. So a couple of questions which were asked, so I'm just sending it to across to the team. Any other question here, please? You're very welcome. So team, is that the slide, the summary slide is back with you? I'll put the summary slide with some other information. That's that. If you do a 4-day course with us, it will be really, really handy for you to understand that how does it work. Any other question here, please? Good. This is the right time to then end the session. You're most welcome. If you have any questions, you can always come and the queries. The email ID question. So I'm finishing the session